Hello everyone, this is the second part of subject and verb agreement and it is presented to you by me, Rajni Jha. Here is the slide where you can read about me. I'm a faculty of English at Paramount Coaching Center. I've taught at KD campus as well. I graduated from University. I did B.Ed from IPU, that is Indraprastha University. And if you like the video, do rate, review and recommend it. Also, you can follow me at Unacademy at this link. Now, this is the first rule. When two subjects are joined by and they refer to two different things or persons, they give a plural sense and therefore a plural verb has to be used. Whereas, when two subjects joined by they work as a unit to form something else or to refer to something else. They give a singular sense and hence are followed by a singular verb. These rules would be more clear to you once you try to apply them in the sentences. So let's just have a look at the following sentences. First sentence is Raghav and Tia is or are friends. Now you can see the conjunction and has been used and there are two subjects, Raghav and Tia, and they are two different persons. Therefore this gives a plural sense and has to be followed by a plural verb. And I've already explained to you that between is and are is a plural verb. Therefore the correct sentence would be Raghav and Tia are friends. Next, he and I is, am, are friends. Now, a lot of students make mistake in this sentence because they think that I has to be followed by am only. But that is not true. You have to look at the rest of the sentence too. Now you can see here again the conjunction and has been used and there are two subjects, he and I, and you know that he and I are two different persons. Therefore, this gives a plural sense and has to be followed by a plural verb. And that is why out of is, am, are, you would choose are and the sentence should be he and I are friends. Next, gold and platinum is or are precious metals. Now here again the sentence, the subject is actually gold, platinum, and they're joined by and. These are two different metals. They do not work as a unit. Therefore again it gives a plural sense and has to be followed by a plural verb. Therefore the correct sentence would be gold and platinum are precious metals. Bread and butter is or are my favorite breakfast. Now in this sentence you can see that there are two subjects, bread, butter, they are joined by and, but they work as a unit to form breakfast. So, and I've already told you that when two subjects joined by and, they work as a unit to refer to something else, they give a singular sense and has to be followed by a singular verb only. Therefore the correct sentence would be bread and butter is my favorite breakfast. Next, bread and butter is or are there on the table. Now you can see the subjects are absolutely same as that of the previous sentence, but here they're giving a different sense. In this sentence, bread and butter, they do not work as a unit to form something else. They are simply two different products on the table. Therefore, they give a plural sense and has to be followed by a plural verb. Therefore, the correct sentence would be bread and butter are there on the table. Next, corned beef and cabbage is or are a traditional meal in Ireland. Again, you can see corned beef, cabbage, they both work as a unit to form the traditional meal. Therefore, since they are working as a unit, they act as a singular subject and they give a singular sense and has to be followed by a singular verb only. Therefore, the correct sentence would be corned beef and cabbage is a traditional meal in Ireland. Last sentence, sugar and flour are or is needed for this recipe. Now here it is mentioned that there is a recipe and there are two different products which are required. Since sugar and flour are two different products and they are not working as a unit to form something else, therefore they are giving a plural sense and has to be followed by a plural verb. And therefore the sentence would become sugar and flour are needed for this recipe. Now there is an extended version to this rule. This is the extended version. I'm just going to simplify it for you. It is about the case when there is an article or possessive case like my, your, her, his, etc. Before the subject joined by and. So if you find only one article or possessive case at the beginning of the sentence, you should understand that there is only one person or thing that is being talked about. Hence it gives a singular sense and it has to be followed by a singular verb. But if there are more than one article or possessive case in such sentences, well, that means that more than one person or thing is being talked about, giving it a plural sense, and hence that is followed by a plural verb. Now look at the following sentences. The sentences, the principal and manager has or have arrived. So here you can see there's only one article, the, used at the beginning of the sentence. Therefore, it means that there's only one person who is principal and manager both. Therefore, it has to be followed by a singular verb, and hence the sentence would be the principal and manager has arrived. Next, the principal and the manager has or have arrived. Now you can see that here there are two articles, the, before every subject basically. So that means there are two different people that are being talked about. So principal is someone else and manager is someone else. Therefore, they give a plural sense and has to be followed by a plural verb. So the sentence becomes the principal and the manager have arrived. Next, my friend, singer, pianist, and actor has or have arrived. Again, you can see there's only one possessive case used at the beginning of the sentence. So that means there's only one person who is the friend, singer, pianist, and actor, all of them. But there's only one person. So that means it gives a singular sense and has to be followed by a singular verb, and therefore the sentence would become my friend, singer, pianist, actor has arrived. Next, the sum and substance of this passage is or are really fascinating. Now here there are two things which you should notice. First of all, there's only one article used at the beginning of the sentence, so that means it gives a singular sense. Moreover, sum and substance is a fixed phrase which means the main idea or gist, right? So here it gives a singular sense and therefore it has to be followed by a singular verb, and so the correct sentence would become the sum and substance of this passage is really fascinating. Next, the horse and carriage is or are at the door. Again, you can see there's only one article used at the beginning of the sentence. That means here horse and carriage, they refer to the same thing, that is the vehicle basically, and hence has to be followed by a singular verb. Therefore, the sentence would be the horse and carriage is at the door. Next, Congress dissidents and many members of the opposition has or have mounted a big campaign to have the president re-nominated. Now you can see again and is used as a conjunction, and there are two subjects, Congress dissidents and their members, and they all are different from each other, right? They do not form a unit, or they do not act as a unit to form something else. So that means it gives a plural sense, and since it gives a plural sense, you have to choose a plural verb, and between has and have is plural, that I've already told you in the previous video. Therefore, the correct sentence would become Congress dissidents and many members of the opposition have mounted a big campaign to have the president re-nominated. Last sentence, the ebb and flow of tide is or are due to lunar influence. Again, you can see there's only one article used at the beginning of the sentence. So that means ebb and flow, they refer to the same thing. And it's basically a fixed phrase, and it is a phenomenon, right? So it gives a singular sense and has to be followed by a singular verb. Therefore, the correct sentence would become the ebb and flow of the tide is due to lunar influence. I hope this rule is clear to you all, but if you have any doubt or any query, do not forget to mention that in the comment section and I will sort it out for sure. Thank you very much for watching the video.